Hi there. In this session, we're going to go through 5 most bearish crypto according to CoinMarketCap sentiments. If you're new to my sessions, I'll quickly go through these 3 key points for each of those 5 projects. And these are not financial advice, they are for education and research purpose only, and also for discussion with the asset tech community, including yourself. Let's start with the very first one, AVAX. So AVAX, as we discussed before, is been going through a series of very deep tests. If time comes that the up leg leads to another distribution cycle immediately, we call that a spring. But for simplicity's sake, let's consider that's just a very deep test for now. And why there are tests? Because they are the big guys, the whales, are going to shake out the paper hands, and only the diamond hands remains before they push the price up to distribute, right? They want to maximize their profit. It's just as simple as that. So what we hope to see after this test is something like the previous sign of strength, all right? These are not signs for calling for help. They are like these. What we want to see is price advancement with volume. So good volume plus price climb. Where should they challenge at least the green key level excuse me, of $33.90. And that's the big picture. Now, what's come later, we'll leave it to the subsequent sessions, but in the daily chart, there are more to tell. All right, previously, we already talked about, near the year end, there will be a trend change confirmation that the downtrend that started in October will be over. And the bulls took the chance. Look at these volumes over here. They consecutively pushing the price up. Just be careful though. There were quite a lot of change of hands in this short candlesticks period. Look at the volume compared to the body of the candlestick. The price was within a very narrow spread, but the volume wasn't small. Okay, some people are clearly getting in while some people are getting out. So there's no particular trend going on here. You can consider is a range bound as of this moment, where it is around the red key level of $15.80 down to $12.20. All right. So always remember, don't forget the big picture. If the accumulation is near finish, definitely the price will come back to challenge the trading range top at around $29.30. That's where the automatic rally as well as the sign of strength previously tried to test. All right, of course we want to see something like this later. That's for AVAX. The second one is ONDO. For ONDO, currently again is exiting the testing period. I'm not going to repeat what's happening because it's just the same as AVAX. So let's go to the daily chart and see whether there are different indications. While we are hoping the same to come, I would say the difference between AVAX and ONDO is that this, you can consider that still a sign of strength. Just that it wasn't as crazy as the one we have seen in AVAX. You remember the peak over there. That was really high up. But this time, the trading range top is around $1.05. And going to the daily chart, previously we said somewhere before the 10th of Jan, we'll get a confirmation whether the downtrend is over. And the bulls successfully did it. They did it on the 2nd and brought the price out of this downtrend that started, back in September last year. And that's where we are now, and again, similar to AVAX, expect certain range bound activity to go on before the bulls gather sufficient strength, and the range is somewhere around 34 cents to 49 cents or 50 cents almost. Okay, that's for ONDO. Now let's get to Chainlink. For Chainlink, it's a very different picture now. You see, compared to the other two, Chainlink is still at the early stage of accumulation. It has just gone through where the bulls set the trading range cycle top. It hasn't gone through very deep tests. And previously I shared this uptrend trend line, this yellow dash line over here. All right. It started somewhere back in June 2023, way back, during that Ice Age period. And when we get to this point, the thing I said is, let's observe when the price get closer to this triangle, whether it's going to stay below the red key level of $13.10 and above this trend line. And last week, the bulls successfully pushed the price above this key level, and they are still trying to defend this line. You can clearly see this wick from the top. The bears are trying to push very hard when the bulls try to push the price to challenge the orange key level of $15.20. So this battlefield is very key, because if this trend line is broken, that's going to be a little bit worrying. All right, you know how far the test or the shake of paper hands, diamond hands, goes to. All right, Chainlink hasn't gone through that stage. Let's hope it doesn't happen, because that would be pretty pessimistic for the supporters. For daily chart, right after New Year, the confirmation came in, and over the course of past few days, the volume is still fluctuating. Not particularly bad, because the price still stays above the red key level of $13.10. So these dates aren't relevant for now. It was the previous downtrend. If the boost doesn't catch the opportunity before the 10th, we have to wait till further down the month. But they did it, and so, like I said here, let's hope they successfully keep the price above the red key level and accumulate along that range between the orange and the red, and then set the sign of strength over there. But I don't think the whales would be letting it go that easy, so be cautious. Next is Litecoin. For Litecoin, it's even earlier than Chainlink in terms of the stage. It hasn't clearly set the trading range top yet. It's still in the process. This week it came down a little, but sometimes it happened in such a way. Look at what happened back in 2025 April. It took 5 weeks, actually 6 weeks, before the automatic rally stage was set. All right, we're just 3 weeks in, so there's still time for the bulls to confirm whether they're going to set the trading range top a little bit higher, or there's just not enough support from the community or retail to push the price up. Okay, same thing. Expect more tests to come to shake out paper hands. And in the daily, currently the price is still trading within the downtrend, but we see some signs of range-bound activity as of this moment. It's very far down the line over here when we say we want to get a confirmation. Not that we have to wait till that time. If, going back to the big picture, if the bulls gather sufficient strength and push the price further up to this line at around $88, this is where the $88 is. If they go up here, if it's strong enough in the shortest amount of time within this month, this actually points to somewhere near the end of January. All right, the yellow key level of 100. It's not easy. It's not something easy to achieve. Half week's time, getting past 100 is a bit of a stretch target. All right, that's very bullish case. More likely it would be the other two, if it stays along this orange level of $79. All right, that's Litecoin. Expect more tests to come, still early in the accumulation stage. And Tron is still enjoying its period in the distribution cycle. Very different from the other four. It has gone through the FOMO stage, the buying climax, and then the late FOMO, the upthrust. The key difference here is if you look at the volume bars, those time was much taller. This time, they already declined to a level you can clearly see the difference. So here is that it's probably going through what we call the last point of supply, these mini rebound before the price actually land back to the earth. But like many of you ask, are there any positive scenario, positive case that can happen? Yes, definitely. It can come up to set a second test to re-challenge the purple key level of 0.351 where the upthrust was, assuming capital comes in time and they're not being allocated to the other coins that's been staying low for quite a while, almost a year now, for some of the altcoins. And the more bullish case, rather than just a second test in Wyckoff, there's something called upthrust after distribution. That it means, in the usual terms that you heard, is like a new all-time high. Okay, but again, timing and capital flow matters. When the world is still within risk-off stage, that's not something easy to achieve. Going back to the case of bearish or a little bit pessimistic, is that if Tron comes back down to accumulation, we may see a sign of weakness. What it means is that the demand depleted and people kept selling. May not be to the point of panic selling yet, just that the price keep getting lower. There are still people buying the dip. And what happened back in March 2025? The price landed around this orange key level of 0.209. So that's the bearish or pessimistic case, that the price would come to this point and may exhibit a relief rally before it goes further down to accumulation. Well, people would ask how deep it can go. There's no answer to that because I'm not guessing the price, but in terms of reference, this reaccumulation range that happened back in February to August 2024, that would be the very first stage I would look at when the price really comes down for accumulation. Because when the projects further develop, when the world further accepts crypto, and they get more business partnership, community growth, they're probably not going to go back to the very deep level in the early days. But there's still a limit depending on the token mechanics of each of the projects. Alright, thanks for joining me in this session. If you're interested to get access to the individual sessions 2 days earlier than the others, feel free to join the channel membership. See you in the next one where I talk about the bullish ones.